crashes in break formation. Jonas Vingegaard's behind the split. Pogacar's monitoring proceedings up in front. The only GC rider that makes it. This was stage 15 of the Tour de France, a nailed-on transition breakaway stage with about 2,000 meters of climbing. The Pas du Sang, the category 2, that's 3Ks at 9%, and then it continues going uphill after that. Too hard for the sprinters teams to control when so many teams want to go in the breakaway. So it was a free-for-all at the start, 22, 23 teams jumping, but then there's a crash through this road furniture or this roundabout in the village. There's a crash. Alaphilippe goes down, and then everyone in front basically is the breakaway. And the problem for them is Tadej Pogacar is in. But yeah, there was a narrowing, huge hold up, and it takes a while for people to get through. Alaphilippe was down. It looked like he'd broken his collarbone or hurt his shoulder or something like that on these cobbles, which were usually the riders hop these, so I'm not surprised there was a crash there. Lipovitz is caught up. Tej Benoot is crashed, but still, the white jersey and a podium contender having gone down or being caught up meant all action stations for Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. And Vingegaard, indeed, Affini was smashing behind the car, trying to come back to, that's not Group 1. That's Group 2 or 3. We don't really know. That's like a minute behind the front of the race. Whilst at the front of the race, the racing doesn't stop. Johnny Milan is there, but without teammates. Van Aert's there, Van der Poel's there, EF got numbers, Lutsenko for Israel Premier Tech, and most importantly, Tadej Pogacar has made it with Tim Wellens. And so the break formation, the jumping keeps going. I guess they're trying to get away from Pogacar because then that'll stop the chase behind, or get away from each other. Pogacar's remonstrating with Jorgensen. I'm not sure why. And then the jumping just keeps going for a little bit while Simon Yates and Sepp Kuss, not notable flat engines, are pacing behind. Van der Poel, though, this is his opportunity. He's 70 points behind Milan in the green jersey competition for this stage. It's a 50-point stage. He can get ahead, go to the intermediate, take 20. If he wins the stage, he takes another 50. For Johnny Milan, he would lose the jersey if that happens to MVDP. And Milan was struggling. He got dropped out of the break and then dropped on the flat by Group 2, so he was really, really struggling, and then eventually the break does form. Campenaerts is in there with Wellens, Van Aert bridges across with Ankorn, Van der Poel is in, so it's looking good for him, plus he's got teammates. Trek are alive to the danger. They're not trying to control this for a sprint, they're trying to bring this back full stop. Van der Poel cannot be in the breakaway like this. Romeo bridges Jonas Vingegaard across, because Romeo, this was a breakaway stage he'd penciled in. Pogacar is marking Jorgensen, who's trying to get across to the breakaway himself. And then this is the initial break. It never gets a leash. Tim Wellens is on the back. He doesn't pull. He's telling Van Aert he's just going to sit on the back, so to go through. So already Wellens, by being able to play that card, is just doing a little bit less in the break formation than the other riders. Ineos missed it, so Aronson pulls full gas. They got Axel Laurent for this finish. Sturven tries to bring it back for Simmons to go across, but also to stop Van der Poel being there in some crosswinds. That's why, Vauquelin's there. He's behind the splits of the groups chasing, and Milan's getting dropped. So Milan can't take any points at the intermediate sprint because he completely blew up, whilst Van der Poel's able to erase 20 of that 70-point deficit at one intermediate sprint. So Van der Poel's still going to go for the green jersey when he can. Tudor on a 1K 6%, 7% climb, do a full lead out for Alaphilippe, who's come good. He's trying to snap bridge across the breakaway. It's only a 30-second gap. It's bridgeable. For strong riders or punchers like Simmons, it's bridgeable. But Jorgensen's on his wheel. He tries to go with him. Pogacar marks him again. It's now GC guys only. Lipovitz are there. Russo's dropped out of the break. And here Vingegaard, when Stora attacks, tells Jorgensen to stop following and let him go, because Pogacar's not letting Jorgensen go in the breakaway. So counter move goes with Simmons, Stora, and I think Sturven. UAE put a couple of domestiques on the front to try and assume some control. And then in the break, it's just not working. No one's pulling. Wellens goes across to a move with Campenaerts, Moritz, Simmons. Stora's eventually going to get across to them. Behind, there's Lund Andresen, and for Picnic, that's why they're pacing. There was Oscar Riesebeck for Alpecin. They were pacing for Van der Poel while he was there. And Carlos Rodriguez has got across with Axel Laurent. So we've got some versatile sprinters in there. Alaphilippe eventually makes it, but they never see the front of the race again. This is the front of the race. That group never sees the entirety of that group again. Carlos Rodriguez tries to get across. Maybe he should have just kept it together or paced on the climb for Laurence, because now the cohesion behind is really bad. Van Aert's not pulling. Stewart's not going to pull when Lutsenko's ahead. And Van der Poel's kind of gassed, so Alpecin give up on the stage. We get to the 2.9k 10% climb where it's all going to happen. Storer tries to get rid of the rouleurs. He's the best climber in this group. He probably wished the climb was twice as long as it is. Unfortunately for him, Simmons follows the first attack. Campenaerts comes back with Wellens. Then Storer goes again. Campenaerts initially responds with Simmons, and Simmons just closes him off right at the top. But this keeps going now. It's like 4%, 3% rolling up and downhill. Storer goes again. Wellens is in the wheel of Simmons. Technical, narrow descent, gravel everywhere. And this, so the road gets really, really narrow. Vlasov, Lutsenko, Rodriguez, Barguil, just as they've got across, just when they've been to the front of the race, Wellens sees a narrow road, maybe a corner coming up, and he sees that the strongest guys, Campenaerts and Simmons, are blocked on the right, and he jumps into the gap on the left. Campenaerts and Simmons are blocked for a second. Barguil responds, but the gap is already there. And if you watch Belgian National Championships road race, that's why he's wearing this jersey. Once Tim Wellens has a gap, you ain't bringing him back. And when it goes to 5 seconds, the race is already over. At some point, the others are going to look to the others to chase, and the cohesion will come out of the group. It goes to 45 seconds already with 30 Ks to go, and that is all she wrote. A bigger group comes back with indeed Julian Alaphilippe and Wout van Aert. They closed the best part of 40 seconds on Rodriguez in the last 16K. So group 2, yeah, as you can see with Simmons attacking and then Campenaerts going, the cohesion really came out. Rodriguez took a lot of time on GC though, but Wellens completes his trilogy, a stage win in all 3 Grand Tours. He's been pivotal for Pogacar so far this Tour de France, but behind wasn't just Wellens. Then Campenaerts rolled into second, and like Alaphilippe should have seen him. He comes third in the sprint, well, wins the sprint behind, but he thinks he's won, despite 2 riders finishing ahead of him. I'm not sure I've seen that before. Usually it's a solo attacker they don't know about, but Alaphilippe 41, he didn't. Wellens wins ahead of Campenaerts, then Alaphilippe, Van Aert, Laurence, Vlasov, Penouet, Jagat, Valgren, and Valentin Malouaz rounding out the top 10. Here's what Wellens had to say after the stage.
Tim, 2 victories on La Vuelta, 2 victories on the Giro. The collection is completed today with a win on the Tour de France. What does this one mean?
It is a very special victory. I think everybody knows Tour de France, everybody wants to ride the Tour de France, and not many people win in Tour de France, so it's a very beautiful victory.
In terms of GC, there was actually a move because Carlos Rodriguez takes the best part of 5 minutes and leapfrogs Ben Healy. Jordan Jagat also moves within a minute of Healy in 11th, so Healy's top 10 really came under threat today by him missing that breakaway. So that's something to monitor. Carlos Rodriguez probably should continue dropping him in the long climbs, but Healy climbed really well yesterday. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back with Vaughn 2 on Tuesday. Ciao, ciao.